Team Fortress 2 is a small miracle of a game. Not because of the fact that it went through a nightmarish development hell and somehow came out on top as one of its era's premier shooters, though that's pretty damn impressive. Not the fact that it served as the spearhead of the Steam client for years, survived going free-to-play without self-immolating, and accidentally created an economy built on selling imaginary hats? Though how the hell it pulled that off without being the biggest PR nightmare in games is baffling. Not the fact that it still has a loving and passionate community to this day? Though for a game that came out in 2007 that long since has stopped receiving anything more than basic maintenance from its parent company, yeah, that's kind of insane. No. The real TF2 miracle is that all of these things were possible because of one unifying bedrock that the game could always depend on. Something that's never aged, something that stood up in the face of adversity, and something that will essentially make the game immortal. Team Fortress 2 is good because Funny Putis Man and his friends make people laugh.
Sandwich, now I am king of teeth. Let us wrestle, little man. Yes!
The 8 eclectic mercenaries and sniper that make up Team Fortress 2's cast are some of the most incredible characters I've ever seen in a video game, and also sniper. That's not to say they're super deep characters, teeming with backstory who will change your life and worldview simply by experiencing their story, but they are legendary in a different way. Every single member of Team Fortress 2's cast is utterly perfect in the role they serve. Their personalities, design, voice, and identity, a brilliant extension of their gameplay and the overall tone of Team Fortress 2. The moment any one of these idiots opens their mouth or even starts just moving around with a gun, even if you've never seen them before, you know exactly what they're all about. The cast of TF2 elevates the game from simply being a really good team-based shooter and turns it into something more. It turns the game into playable slapstick comedy.
It's starting to bore me how much you suck.
Let's take Pyro for instance, probably the outwardly least interesting class. It's somebody in a full-body asbestos-lined suit and a gas mask who makes muffled noises of pyromaniac pleasure as they set things on fire. Not much room to branch out there. Your strategy as Pyro, at a base level, is to hold forward and hit the set things on fire button, retreat to a corridor where your short range is less of a hindrance, and do it again. When you look at the Tusken Raider taunt and the muffled cheers of glee at the sight of searing flesh, yeah, you get that this is a character who sells the joy of mindlessly setting things on fire really well. And when you're fighting him, you feel dumb for dying to a Pyro, because their W+M1 win condition is both intensely simple and intensely avoidable. So, you adapt. You learn the map, figure out where a Pyro is likely gonna lurk, and start planning for those ambushes, ready to take him on and get an easy kill. And then Pyro sneaks up behind you and blasts you anyway.
I am on fire!
And you feel even dumber. After learning the game at a basic level, every interaction in Team Fortress 2 is all about subverting expectations. Sure, you might be able to lob a grenade around a corner to hit a waiting Pyro once, but they can just air blast it right back and then kaboom! You just blew yourself up, idiot. You might run into the water to cool yourself off from third-degree burns, but there could be a hungry heavy in the water, waiting to pick you up. No matter how brilliant Spy's best disguise is, he's still thwarted by a Pyro so much as sneezing in his direction. The crafty cerebral class outwitted by the most simple tactic in the game. Team Fortress 2 is a game that's won through unexpected moves, about anticipating the sentry nest around the corner or the incoming Uber charge and figuring out the best way to distract and humiliate your opponent. And because of the incredibly over-the-top nature, because of these cartoonish personalities, you never get the chance to feel like a brilliant mastermind, stringing together a genius play at just the right moment to break a point. Instead, it just feels funny. Like it managed to trick some idiots into falling for your bait and get to laugh all the way to the bank with it. This extends to every single member of the cast. Of course, Soldier can rocket jump. You take one look at him and you know he's a man who would think, I need to kill fast, but legs too slow. But rocket fast and American.
Sun Tzu might have invented war, but we invented winning them!
Scout is the world's most perfect distraction, able to disorient and pepper foes in any number of ways.
What's the matter, you freaking stupid?
But one wrong move and the cocky loudmouth is humbled immediately.
Aw, crap.
Engineer's good old boy, hyper-genius personality is contrasted with the extreme paranoia when playing him, knowing that you're spy target numero uno, waiting quietly for that enemy team's push or ambush to come, never quite knowing when. Sniper's highly professional attitude is always set back by his natural Aussie aggressiveness. Plus the fact that no one on your team is particularly happy that you're just sitting around playing a point-and-click adventure with the other team's sniper. Killjoy.
Crikey.
All of Team Fortress 2's mercs have a game plan, one that's immediately obvious to both their team and the entire enemy squad. And the fact that most games will end up featuring at least one of every class on a team should make encounters repetitive and stagnant with such an overall small cast. But just because you know where NG nests on Upward are gonna be every time, doesn't mean you can take them down in the same way. Every single class plays a thrilling game of cat and mouse with every single other class, trying to figure out how they're either gonna perform their primary function or try to subvert it. Whenever one side prevails, the medic filling a man with syringes as he's branching off from his partner Heavy, Sniper deciding to get out of the 2-forward overpass and literally piss away an enemy's chances, Demo Man perfectly trapping an escape route before luring some fools into a sticky doom. It's not a big brain play, it's a punchline. It's a gag. It's...
You're dead!
Just as you know what kind of jokes to expect from each individual member of the Looney Tunes gang, every class in TF2 has their own built-in gags and punchlines to myrtleize each other with. But while you know the content of each joke and kill beforehand, the context of the location, timing, and how it subverts expectations, that is what makes these tunes funny. And in TF2, you're not just hearing the jokes, you're helping tell them. In the same way that Wile E. Coyote fails to catch the Roadrunner thanks to his own hubris, so too does the kill-hungry soldier overextend himself and get his rocket poofed right back into his face.
Damn it!
Heavy's a big, strong lug who will always see his job through, until he gets beamed with a baseball and trips over himself trying to swat down a bothersome fly.
I am owning you, you fat, bald, fatty, fat.
Hell, the NG Spy Pyro relationship is just a Tom and Jerry cartoon involving Spike the dog, the crafty cat being totally overwhelmed by a simple punch to the face. Except the punch is fire, and the face is his entire body.
I appear to have burst into flames.
All of the mercs play their roles to perfection, their personalities enhancing their gameplay to make players feel like they're really inheriting the role of these reckless, dangerous sociopaths, and going to town trying to knock these other morons down a peg. Alright, also, their personalities. The appeal of Team Fortress 2 is immediately evident. You've got super vibrant characters with highly expressive designs shooting the crap out of each other and loving every second of their blissful bloodshed. Realistically, you could probably leave it there, add in a couple of memeable voice lines, and TF2 would still be pretty exceptional at capturing personality. But instead, TF2 loads the characters up with hundreds of voice lines, insulting all of the other mercenaries individually as killing sprees and dominations spring up.
You must be a doctor, because you just saw the extent of my patience.
Soldier has 6 different voice lines just calling Sniper different variations of
Balbo Biggins, Barbo Bapkin, Basbo Bibbins.
Cause why not? This is on top of all of the game's generic taunts, barbs, and whining that your healer isn't doing their job to be expected from the genre. The delightful death screams of each cold-blooded killer, the cartoonish sound of getting your lights punched out with every crit. And with how over-the-top every single personality is, not only do you feel great playing as them, even if you might not instantly like their class's gameplay, you feel amazing showing up and slaughtering these hammy morons every single time. Team Fortress 2 puts all of its effort into making killing as fun as possible, and does absolutely everything it can to make the dynamic of every mercenary crystal clear. And all of this effort, all of this insane level of detail in making every class special, is probably the least important thing to their character. That is a distant second, too. Each member of the Team Fortress crew has their own introduction video. Some shot as mock documentary interviews, some shot as basically a promo video, and others showing off complete cinematic storylines. Every Meet the Team video is utterly brimming with personality. The subject is placed front and center, showing off all of the ways that they can naturally outwit, outplay, and outlast the rest of the cast, with their overwhelming firepower, skill, speed, and homicidal recklessness.
Oh, they're going to have to glue you back together in hell!
And due to the insular nature of the videos, always featuring the same 9 characters and only having a single one be particularly competent at a time, a growing familiarity with and fondness for the entire team grew. Sure, Heavy is a well-spoken, highly confident, insanely professional killing machine, but he's also a big lug who always serves as the perfect figure to turn into a bloody pudding to put over another member of the cast.
You be f***ing dead.
Every video made the group more endearing, more competent, more of a team, and translated the over-the-top dynamics of TF2 into a more traditional cartoon format. They proved that the cast of TF2 don't need amazing gameplay to stand out and establish their identities, but were complemented by it, developing further as characters every single time even one of them gets a little bit of spotlight. And from these 9 insanely successful videos, they never stopped.
Both got buckets of chicken. You want to do it?
Okay.
Expiration Date, a 15-minute short film starring the TF2 cast, released in the summer of 2014. Taking all that they learned and absolutely bombing at making an animated series due to their meticulous time-taking, Valve released a full-blown cartoon starring their maniacal mercs. And 7 years removed from its debut, it's still an absolute riot of a time. Scout and Spy play off of each other fantastically to form the heart of the piece.
Here you've drawn me having sexual congress with the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower having sexual congress with me. I'm crying, and the Eiffel Tower has stink lines coming off of it.
Classic Scout.
While all of the other mercs take fun background roles to deliver a story-driven comedy with all the comic timing and flash of, well, TF2 itself. And it absolutely delivers in all the best of ways. Character-driven comedy, action, references, memes, Soldier.
Dear God.
There's more.
No.
You'd think this would be the peak, but nah, TF2 decides, let's keep on going. Comics were released, celebrating the introduction of new weapons, maps, and events in-game, which would then flesh out the mercenaries, add a supporting cast of shadowy morons who would fuel their endless firefight, and explain how Soldier is to blame for a wizard turning people's heads into bombs.
I hate you so much, Soldier!
This would later be expanded into a full-fledged Team Fortress comic series, the incredibly silly world of TF2 being fleshed out around deeper versions of these nefarious rascals. Heavy gets a family he cares for deeply. Scout and Spy share a touching amount of development. Characters like Saxton Hale emerge past the over-the-top punchlines they were initially. But absolutely nothing challenges the spirit of those original 9 characters as they appeared in Team Fortress 2. Medic is still the same Medic people know and love from the game, cheating God both because he cares about Sniper and because he wants to prove modern science wrong by bringing someone back from the dead.
We did it!
Kill your friends!
Ah yes, I almost forgot.
Scout convinces God not to kill the entire human race because he's just that cool and totally not a hallucination. Pyro kills Smokey the Bear. The gang blows up Atlantis. Soldier! All of these personalities come together not to redefine themselves, but to take a new medium by storm and use their natural talents to
dominate them, crush them!
And it would be really, really cool if it ever actually finished. Come on, guys, it's been 4.5 years. It'd be really nice. What all of this proved is that Team Fortress 2 has universal appeal. The utterly ridiculous view counts of some of these videos can attest to that much. The men in red, except when they're blue, were instantly recognizable, understandable, and enjoyable. Not just to video game players familiar with FPS archetypes, but to audiences at large. There is no medium that these characters would struggle in. Heck, give them a stage play or a novel, and they'd still deliver absolute gold. The TF2 cast was just so easy to love and get in on their joke that anyone could see them, adore them, and tell that same joke back to a friend. And I think that the most important and amazing thing is, people did tell that joke back. And they kept telling that joke and they ran it into the ground. And somehow, it's still funny.
Shall we?
Source Filmmaker, released in a limited capacity in tandem with the Meet the Pyro video on June 27th, 2012, is a 3D animation tool running off of Valve's Source platform. As an animation platform, SFM was intuitive, robust, creative, and incredibly accessible. And most importantly, it was absolutely filled to the brim with Team Fortress 2. All of the previous Meet the Team videos had been completed using the engine. All of TF2's assets neatly available within the product. Not only did this tempt amateur filmmakers to test their mettle at their own Team Fortress skits and movies, Valve encouraged it, hosting an annual award show for TF2 SFMs for 6 years. And this resulted in a dedicated following, fans passionately sharing their creations with each other, a love for TF2 outpouring all over, with videos reaching marks in... Oh, geez, that's a big number. Okay, it's really popular, alright? Suddenly, the Team Fortress 2 cast was out in the open, not just as memes to be played around with, but a set of characters that anyone could use. Any gag you could think of, any storyline you wanted to run, any song you wanted to parody, the Team Fortress 2 cast would be there, ready to join in on the fun and bring your vision to life.
They said we couldn't do it. They said we shouldn't do it. They begged us not to do it, and we did it anyway.
Just as they enhanced the gameplay of Team Fortress 2 with their personalities, letting players express their gameplay vividly and hilariously, They allowed players an unparalleled freedom in the art of storytelling, as public characters to be used for anyone's SFM needs. And the most miraculous thing about it all is, in spite of being thrown to the sharks as interchangeable dolls, their personalities endured. So often can a character become swept up in a sea of memes or mischaracterization that they completely lose themselves, their identity forever warped by a scant few jokes repeated ad nauseum. But no matter how many situations the Team Fortress 2 cast was thrust into, no matter if they were just dicking around or fighting Donkey Kong, the mercenaries remained the mercenaries. Demoman didn't stop being an alcoholic drunk, Spy didn't stop being either suave or hilariously thwarted from achieving success. Engineer became part giraffe, but otherwise is the same Southern hospitality incarnate he always was. In spite of being totally let loose, letting anyone have a say in how they could be portrayed, the TF2 cast was treated with care and love by their fanbase. They were celebrated, their funniest traits exaggerated, all the little aspects of TF2's gameplay taking the forefront as full-blown comedy skits. An entire community of storytellers and comedians just happy to be working with their favorite murderers. I fully believe that if the TF2 cast wasn't as bombastic, as strong, as incredibly lovable as they are, Source Filmmaker would have been a far more niche product. But by having these characters that players had already grown to love, that they wanted to tell the stories that they felt and discovered through gameplay with, SFM was able to explode as a platform. And like I said, this one's got Donkey Kong.
Hey.
I love Donkey Kong.
Okay.
And in the end, that's why I think the cast of Team Fortress 2 can never truly die. The Mercs are all excellent characters, perfect at what they do from a gameplay, character design, and characterization standpoint. They have personalities that make them perfect punchlines to any situation, whether that be absurd cartoon violence or actual heartfelt drama. And more than that, they belong to everyone. The team takes advantage of coming from an interactive media in a way that I've never seen any other group of characters tackle so well. They create an incredibly strong first impression, stick their landing, and leave themselves in the hands of a community that'll keep the love and laughs rolling for years to come. In that way, I think the TF2 cast will always be contemporary. Never constrained by a specific writer's vision, never dying whenever a creator loses interest, never becoming relics of a bygone age. Much like TF2 itself, the community keeps these characters alive. And even if they grow quiet or dormant, it only takes one little nostalgic spark to bring them back to life all over again.
We're a good team.
I haven't played Team Fortress 2 in nearly 7 years. Fell off the game after I reached a point in life where I just didn't need my daily hit of Upward. But I still love these characters. I still check in and see on what's new with them, rewatch old Meet the Team videos, see what other creators have to say on them, still laugh whenever a funny SFM pops up in my timeline. And even if TF2 is ungodly slow to update, even if it's been years since the last comic and short, even if we've lost incredible talent in the time since its release, the boys are still standing. Scout, Soldier, Pyro, Demoman, Heavy, Engineer, Medic, not you, and Spy will all stand the test of time. Not just because they're funny, not just because they function well, but because all it takes is someone meeting them, either for the first time or after a long absence, to fall in love with them and cause chaos all over again. And that, my friends, is how you design for Immortality.
Gotcha, you spastic little pickle-headed, cactus-eating, fat-jiggling, two-faced piece of piece! I'm a dinkamosi, not some bloody cartoon!